What's up, y'all? It's your boy Big Steve back at it again, and today I'll be showing you guys my Necromancer build on Diablo 4 during the server slam. Now this will also be a leveling build. I will show you guys some gameplay footage, and then I'll dive into the stats and some of the items, and we'll go from there. Let's do it. And before we jump into the talents, I will note I did do some research, tried to find some necro builds that did some high damage, and I found some comparisons to some bosses I did, and my build does kill a lot quicker. There was this necro build with decompose and minions. It took like 1 minute and 11 seconds for the boss I did, and it took me about 22 seconds. So it's huge time difference. I see people try to go with bone, and I still had some quicker times than some of those bone specs. Maybe they're just not built right. Maybe the necro has some hidden talents, but if you go with Blood Surge, I think you'll be on a good path. But let's jump into the talents. Okay, let's start with your basic skills. I put 5 points into hemorrhage. And then I put 1 point into enhanced hemorrhage. And then I put 1 point into acolyte hemorrhage. And the reason why I put this point in is because when you are healthy, which is above 80% health, you gain 20% attack speed. So hemorrhage is your basic skill. This is what you're going to use to get your essence back. So you do use this a fair bit. I find like I might use 1 or 2 blood surges and then start spamming my hemorrhage and then go back to blood surge, like back and forth. Sometimes if I just want to put out high damage and I got a full essence bar, sometimes I'll just spam blood surge all out. But sometimes you want to cast blood surge, and while you're doing the cast for blood surge, you can actually cast hemorrhage kind of quick. So you want to put 5 points into that because you're going to be doing a lot of damage with hemorrhage also. And then we're going to come down to core skills. So our main skill, Blood Surge, you're going to put 5 points into this. And then you're going to take Enhanced Blood Surge. And what this does, it allows you to steal health from enemies, depending on how many enemies are inside your Blood Surge. And then we're going to take Paranormal Blood Surge for the overpower. So on your 6th Blood Surge, it is an automatic overpower. So you can pump out some high damage when it comes in handy a lot. And you be casting Blood Surge a lot, so you get to that overpower pretty quick. I find it's definitely worth it. And then we're going to come down here. Put 1 point into Blood Mist if you need to. Now I'm wearing an item that gives me Blood Mist. That is ideal. But if you got to, put 1 point into it, because this is great to have. It's just an immunity. It'll get you out of a jam. And that's it for that section. And then we're going to come down to curses. And I put 3 points into Death's Embrace. Close enemies take 6% more damage and deal 9% less damage to you. So that's a pretty big buff overall. It gives you more damage and you take less damage. It's perfect. The build before, I did put 1 point into Decrepify, and then I put a point into Amplify damage. Now Decrepify only costs 10 essence, but I found it was kind of annoying at this stage to be casting Decrepify. I found it gave you downtime more than anything. That's what I went with in the previous build. So it's up to you. You can try it out. There's no harm there. And then we'll come down to Corpse and Macabre skills. I put 1 point into Gruesome Mending. So when you're below 50% health, you receive 10% more healing. So you get healing from your Blood Surge, and your blood skills also create blood orbs on the ground. And that's another great thing about blood spec is you create a lot of blood orbs. So if you're getting low on health and maybe got no potions or don't want to use your potions, little orbs will spawn on the ground. You run into them, you get health back. Comes in handy a lot. Then we'll take Coalesced Blood, and this when you are healthy above 80% health, you deal 18% increased damage. So that's a pretty big one. And that's pretty well it for level 20 Server Slam build. And this is also a leveling build. I started off with this build. I loved it. As you can see, it does good damage, high damage, and big AoE. And another thing is, like, for Blood Surge, it has an initial cast. So draw blood from enemies dealing 142. So kind of before, like, you hit your Blood Surge button, before it even kind of casts, it does a big AoE damage across your whole screen. And then there's the second part of your Blood Surge, and expel Blood Nova. So after you do your full AoE, it's just a big thing that comes up, and then you cast a Blood Nova that does the main majority of your damage for if they're inside it. It's a little hard to explain. You'd have to slow the video down. You kind of see what I'm talking about when you're fighting mobs. But now I'm going to talk about the legendary aspect. You can get the Blood Surge legendary aspect pretty quick. It drops from a dungeon, and this is the aspect here. Blood Surge's Nova echoes again after a short delay, dealing 47% less damage. So after you cast Blood Surge, you get a free one afterwards. Now it's going to deal less damage, but it's still a lot of damage when you're casting them fast. Say if you cast 5 in a row, it's really like casting 10. Yes, one's a little bit weaker, but it can also crit, and it can also do overpower. It can be some big damage in there. And that's pretty well it for the starting build. This is the only thing you need. And I don't have anything fancy for what you've seen in the footage. I might be using some of these legendaries, and I might have not had some of these at the time. But this one is just basic skills, grant 20% damage reduction, barrier, becoming injured, crowd control grants you unstoppable. Nothing that enhances my damage in a major way. So if you had some other good legendaries, like I did in the beta, I went this build in the beta, and I could do 5 to 7k with one Blood Surge. It's pretty powerful stuff. Now that's with crits and overpower damage, but for the Silver Slime, Blood Necro did not receive any nerfs or buffs, so I think it's a pretty good way to go. If you guys want to try it out, I think it's a great build. I love the Blood Necro. I am sad to see the way Summoning Necro has went. Nobody likes to play Summoning Necro that way. I played Summon Necro on Diablo 2 for years, and that's one thing I didn't like to do, is to resummon your army. It's just, when you're summoning, you want to play as a lazy build. The less you can do, the better. That's the whole point of summoning builds. So, hope you guys liked the video. Hit the subscribe, and see you all on Diablo 4 release date. Peace.